Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I'm so stoked because I'm going to share my top 5 favorite ways to get that gold effect in your eco-resin. So whether you're using Aqua Resin, Jesmonite, or any other brands, these still will work. I've kind of struggled with getting that really intense gold look over the years, and so I've kind of like tested out different techniques, and these are my top 5 favorite ways. And if there are any other techniques that I haven't shown in my video that you've found to work really well, I'd love to hear. So please comment below and I'll definitely give them a go. To get the different effects, we are going to use this mica powder. This is a gold mica powder. This is one of my favorite brands, and I get this on Amazon, which I will link in my storefront. It is called Boutique Gold. This next product is by Liquitex, and it is an acrylic ink, and this is a gold color, and I actually got this in a 6-pack of all of these different metallic colors because I wanted to experiment with them. The next one is the gliding sheets in gold. I got these at Michael's, but you can get these anywhere, and I'll link an alternative on Amazon. And then lastly, I have this gold glitter. I have this massive size because it was on sale at Michael's. All right, so for this first technique, we're going to take that gold mica powder and I'm going to go in pretty liberally with it and just brush it around, smooth it around on the silicone mold. I didn't actually put anything on the mold because it's pretty much sticky itself. And so I'm just kind of smudging it in until there's no remaining particles kind of like loose in the mold. So this is a pretty lengthy process. So I'm going to speed some of this up, but I'm going to go in pretty thoroughly and try to get in every nook and cranny. I also want to get on the inside walls and the outside walls. I kind of want like full coverage here, and that's what I'm going for. I want like that full gold look. So I'm going to just kind of flip it out, be as thorough as possible. Also, as a side note, I have been on the hunt to get the perfect gold look using eco-resin for quite some time now. I've tested a lot of these techniques out before, and I have yet to find any sort of pigment that can fully pigment into the material before pouring that gives an entirely like gold look to it. I've seen some other makers combine paint into eco-resin, and I feel like it works a little bit, but it kind of makes it like a different consistency, and you have to be super careful when mixing those two, but it can work. I just feel like these techniques give a stronger gold look to them. Okay, so for technique number 2, we're going to use the mica powder again, but we're going to take a finer brush and dip it in and just tap lightly. You can use as much as you want or as little as you want. Keep in mind, if you do large splatters, they're going to potentially create little divots in the mold. So depending on the mold you're using and application, just keep that in mind. I'm going for a lighter look here just because these are coasters, and I was thinking with the coasters, if there's like water that comes off of the glasses, that might kind of like sit in those little divots. So I'm trying to do like lighter splatters here. For technique number 3, we're going to use the gold glitter. And I put a little bit in this cup just to be able to sprinkle on into the mold. I'm starting out with quite a bit, as you can see, because my plan is to try to fully cover the entire mold to get as much coverage as possible, similar to how I did with the mica powder in technique number 1. So I'm just giving it a good like rub into the silicone mold. And again, brushing them into the sides as I'm trying to see if I can get the sides to be the gold glitter as well. I've also seen some other makers put glitter into the material when they're mixing it and pour and then sand it, but I try to do whatever I can to minimize as much sanding, because when you are making a lot of products, sanding can become very intensive. And so I just kind of tried my best to minimize as much as possible. And I wanted to get as big of a gold look as I could with this. Okay, so this one is done and is looking awesome. And I'm completely covered in glitter. So I'm gonna go clean my hands really quick. Moving on to technique number 4 for the gold leafing sheets. I am going to try to just break off little bits of pieces and then adhere it onto the silicone mold. Now, again, because the silicone molds are in itself sticky, these do not need any adhesive when attaching it to the mold. So I'm just using little pieces, sticking them on kind of where I want it. And I'm just giving kind of like an abstract look here. I'm not really going for any particular style, just putting pieces on here. And when those are all placed where you want them, you can take your brush and make sure you kind of press it into the mold, make sure it's smoothly attached and adhered to the silicone mold. I've gone ahead and mixed Aqua Resin in the background, and I have a separate video that shows the mixing ratios and how to pigment it. I made a black color, which is sometimes difficult to achieve, and I mixed mica powder along with Jesmonite pigments to get this black. And I think black is important to use within this specific technique because it really can brighten and enhance the gold look. I'm going to speed up the rest of these just because it's me pouring the black material in. Now for the final and 5th technique, we are going to use that acrylic ink in gold, and I'm going to give it a good shake because it had been sitting for a while, and I'm going to put in a few droplets of the gold into the black material. And I actually chose to do this specifically last so that it didn't affect the other coasters. And then I'm going to go in with a long skewer type stick to just slowly kind of mix it around very lightly because you don't want it to fully mix into the material. Okay, so for this one, I already realized when I started pouring it, I didn't see a ton of pigment going into the mold, and so I wanted to start over and try again. So I put more drops in, so the same technique, and I was trying to get more of the pigment in here to have that come through. And I didn't pour everything in because I was already running out of that gold material, and I kept having to like go back and add more drops in there. And as you can see, I put quite a bit in the last one to try to see if I can get as much of that gold look as possible. And now that they have all been poured, it's time to wait and let them cure and fully harden. And for the reveal, I'm so excited to see what these look like. This first one is the glitter one, and this turned out absolutely gorgeous. I cannot believe how shiny and bright and super glittery this is. It kind of like reminds me of like a New Year's Eve type of coaster theme. I don't know, I'm absolutely loving it. You can tell like there's a little bit of the black kind of like peeps through, but I think you could just add a little bit more glitter and be like a little extra thorough on that. I also want to point out that this is incredibly smooth surface here. Like even with the glitter, it's like fully embedded, but like entirely smooth, which is kind of mind-boggling how that works, but I love it. Moving on to the second one. This one is the acrylic ink. I know I'm doing these a little out of order. This is the acrylic ink that was marbled in that I kind of struggled getting enough pigment in, and it looks pretty cool. I mean, it's not like an intense gold color. It almost gives kind of like that real rock like gold look to it, which I think is really cool. I think if I kind of perfected like how much ink and exactly where to put it when I'm pouring in, that could look really cool with that marbled effect, but it doesn't give like a very like intense bright gold look for sure. And then this third one, this is the gold leafing one that we did, and this looks so cool. It's so unique. And again, with this one, I thought it was so interesting. This is also completely smooth to the touch, and I absolutely love this. For this next one, this was the mica powder splattered look that we did, and this turned out super interesting. I love how this looks. It's kind of like a splattered galactic type of vibe to it. And I love this. I think this is super cool. And you could like mix it up with different colors and just, I really like this effect. And for the final technique, this was when we rubbed the mica powder entirely over the mold. And oh my gosh, I think this is the best gold look that I've achieved to date. And I cannot believe how strong of a gold metal look this has. Unfortunately, you can kind of see there were some watermarks left on the mold. And so I think I need to kind of be careful before cleaning and seeing what the mold looks like before, but I'm gonna go ahead and sand and seal all of these to give you the final look. All right, so I always use an 80 grit sandpaper, and for these, I really just need to sand off the edges, so it doesn't require too much sanding. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna sand off those edges, and then I'm also going to take just an extra piece of sandpaper. You can just rip off a piece, or I kind of like this little like handheld one because I can grip it better, just to kind of smooth off the edges to make sure that they're not like super sharp. And now to my favorite part, which is sealing. And I use this stone wax sealer. And I just use this microfiber cloth. I think I got these at Costco, like a big pack of them. And you just rub it on and rub it off. I rub it off fairly quickly just so that it doesn't leave streaks on them. But I love this process because it really brings out whatever color you have. It just kind of brings some more life to it. Okay, for the final reveal, this is a reminder. This is the first technique for the all gold mica powder. This one was the mica powder splatter. As you can tell, the sealer is still drying. The next one we did was the gold glitter. Then I think we did the gold foil. And then the last one being that acrylic ink. Not a ton of color here. Definitely not my favorite. I would say out of all of these top three, by far my favorite look. If you have a favorite, please comment below. Or if I am missing a awesome technique, please let me know. I would love to try it out. Thank you so much for watching.